Good Thursday morning, everybody. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to the Cruise News. All right, I got a bunch of stuff to go over with you guys today. Several different cruise stories, but before we get into that, I got a couple little cleanup items, a correction to make. In my last news story, I talked about a itinerary change for Allure of the Seas. Instead of going to Cozumel, she was going to be going to Celebrity Haiti, and the reason given is they didn't want two large cruise ships. There was a berthing issue in Cozumel, and I said I wasn't sure if Cozumel could handle two Oasis class ships, and somebody let me know, that I did make a mistake, that Icon of the Seas, which is the second ship that was going to be there, is not an Oasis class ship. It is an Icon class ship. And I did call it an Oasis class ship, so I do want to make that correction. That Icon of the Seas is an Icon class, not an Oasis class. I spent all day looking at cruise news, spent all day thinking about it, and yep, sometimes I get in front of the camera and I make a mistake, have a little slip of the tongue and call something wrong, so I apologize for it. But yep, I did want to make that correction. Earlier this morning, I was looking through the cruise stuff, reading through different cruise pages. Hopped over on John Heald's Facebook page just to see what was going on in the world of Carnival today. And of course, it's 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And then right after Thanksgiving, the cruise ships, and not just Carnival, all the cruise ships, they're going to be putting up their Christmas decorations. They're going to be going into so you're going to see all different kinds of decorations going up on ships. But it's already started. Apparently the comments are already starting to come in with people upset that cruise ships are going to put up Christmas decorations, upset that they, celebrate and support pagan holidays and all that kind of mess. And it comes every year. The comments about Christmas on cruise ships, holidays on cruise ships, it always comes up. And I'm just thinking maybe we could curb it a little bit right here at the beginning. Cruise ships are going to put up holiday decorations. Okay, now whether you say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, we all can celebrate something different. We can all celebrate something different on a cruise ship. But if you're that person that's against all of it, if you're that person that doesn't want holiday decorations up on Christmas time or the holiday time, then look, honestly, don't cruise. Don't get on a ship if you don't want to see it and you just want to complain that you see it. And that's really the bottom line. Because just because you don't want to see it doesn't mean that the other passengers don't want to see it. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean the cruise line should have to take it all down. It's 1 month out of a year that they put this stuff up. And if you're just completely against it, don't cruise. Now that's just my opinion. That's just my thought. But look, it would just make the world a whole lot simpler. Instead of thinking that if you write in comments that the cruise lines are suddenly going to take it all down just to suit you. So enough of being on the holiday soapbox. Let's jump into the cruise news. And first, we're going to talk about credit card fraud and 4 people that got themselves arrested for doing credit card fraud while on a cruise. Now, this segment, of course, could be called Dumb Criminals, because why go onto a cruise ship and commit credit card fraud? Because if you're going to get caught and you can't pay your onboard ship account because you're using fraudulent cards, they're not going to let you off the ship. They're not going to just let you mosey on off. They're going to send you down to guest services. They're going to want to get paid, and you're in the middle of committing a crime. What result do you think is going to come out of this other than you're going to get arrested? And that's exactly what happened to these 4 individuals. So on the Halloween cruise on board the Carnival Celebration, we had 4 individuals, 3 men, 1 woman, all aged between 29 and 31, committed a little bit of credit card fraud, and a little bit, you take that term a little bit loosely, got themselves arrested and are now charged with several counts of fake credit card usage and grand theft. So the cruise line caught wind of this when these individuals were using multiple credit cards on the ship, and these multiple credit cards that they kept trying to use were getting declined, and then they were unable to produce the physical card. So when they went down to guest services, try to correct these issues, they couldn't produce physical credit cards. Of course, all they had was the credit card information. Caused the cruise lines to flag and go, this is suspicious. And they were charging just about everything they could think of. I've never had shipboard accounts this high, but of course they were stealing. but these ranged anywhere from $2,700 all the way up to $20,000 worth of charges. So these individuals, they've been caught, they've been arrested, and now, of course, it will go through the court system to determine guilt or innocence. I said right now, this is what they are accused of. They have not been convicted of. But look, they were caught red-handed, so you know where this is going to go. But it doesn't pay to commit crimes or try to commit crimes on board cruise ships. Between the cameras and all the other stuff they have on board these ships, the fact that you cannot even get off the ship if you still owe the cruise line money, they're going to send you right back to guest services. Not really a very smart move. Any kind of fraud and theft is not a very smart move, but, doing this on cruise ships, not real bright, kind of belongs under, world's dumbest criminals on board cruise ships type of category. Celebrity Cruise Lines, they have officially taken possession of their fourth Edge class vessel, the Celebrity Ascent. Over in France, they had the handover ceremony. They signed the paperwork and they officially hand the keys to Celebrity Cruise Lines. And the ship goes officially into service. Going to do a couple little short break-in cruises before doing her inaugural cruise on December the 3rd from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Now, at the same time they took possession of the Celebrity Ascent, they also announced what is going to be the fifth and final Edge class ship, and that is going to be the Celebrity XL. So they're doing the steel cutting, the first steel cutting for that ship, and like I said, and that is going to be the last and final of the Edge class ships from Celebrity Cruise Lines. Now, while not directly a cruising story, it does involve cruisers because the U.S. State Department, well, they are lowering the wait times or reducing the wait times for you to get a passport. According to their website, the new passport wait times is going to be 7 to 10 weeks for a regular passport and 3 to 5 weeks for an expedited passport. And this is a reduction from just a couple months ago when the estimated wait time was 8 to 11 weeks in order to get one. Now, still give yourself plenty of time to get this passport. Don't always trust this 5 to 7 weeks, 7 to 10 weeks. Don't always trust that. Give yourself the maximum amount of time that you possibly can. Look, you're 5-6 months out. I would start the passport process now because you never know. These are just estimated wait times. These are not guaranteed wait times. And one little hiccup in the processing can extend that out even longer. So don't always believe, what they put in there for estimates. But if it's last minute and you just absolutely have to have that passport, there is at least hope that you could get it quicker now than you could just a few months ago. But like I said, I don't always trust that. Ever since the resumption of cruising after the pandemic, people trying to get passports, and it ballooned up really big. The State Department said they were getting, on average, 430,000 applications per week for passports. They've been working through them, getting them out, but you never know if there could be a sudden rush right at the same time you want to get one. So always give yourself plenty of time. But like I said, at least there's some hope you can get a passport a little bit faster. Next up, we have some information, some updates out of the Port of Galveston. I'm a big fan of the Port of Galveston. That is my home port that I cruise from the most. So I definitely keep an eye on that for all of the new information coming out of there because the growth in Galveston right now is booming. They want cruise business. They want cruise lines down there. They want the cruise ships and they want the revenue that comes with cruise ships and tourism and hotels and restaurants. And they are definitely moving forward, in order to get more of that. Now, yesterday on Wednesday, the Galveston Wharves Trustee Board, they have approved $5.3 million for engineering and architectural services to begin the fourth cruise terminal. Now, the plans for the fourth cruise terminal are going to put it at Pier 16, and that is between where Carnival, Disney, and Norwegian currently dock and Royal Caribbean down at Pier number 10. So it would be in between those two. And while they didn't mention a specific cruise line for this fourth terminal, Galveston has been in talks with MSC Cruise Lines and Norwegian Cruise Lines for use of the new fourth cruise terminal. But they weren't mentioned in this, just that they have approved $5.3 million for engineering and architectural services. But it is another step closer to getting that fourth cruise terminal. And look, it's going to happen. They are pushing for it, and I really believe it's going to happen. And they said this can be completed as early as 2025. So not too far down the road, looks like we're going to have that fourth terminal in Galveston, Texas. And while that's going on, they're also doing work and investing money in preparation for the arrival of the Carnival Jubilee in December. They've had to do some upgrades. They've had to do some improvements to the existing cruise terminal. They've had to change out how the ship is going to fuel, how they're going to embark and disembark passengers, because the Carnival Jubilee is so much larger than the current cruise ships that dock down there. They need more space. They need a bigger facility, a better flowing facility. And these upgrades included things like state-of-the-art gangways, new elevators, new escalators. They've been fixing the roof, all different kinds of projects in preparation for the Carnival Jubilee. Like I said, one of the biggest changes they've had to make is the refueling process. The Carnival Jubilee is an LNG-powered cruise ship. That's the fuel she uses, and she's going to be the first LNG ship to sail out of Galveston. Now, if you've ever cruised and you've seen the bunkering ships they pull alongside in order to refuel the cruise ships, they're pretty low, flat, kind of like long rectangle type vessels. But the LNG refueling ships, they're a little bit different. They look a little bit different. They look a little bit bigger. I'm going to go ahead and put a picture up here now. The specific ship that's going to be doing this is going to be the Clean Jacksonville. She's going to move from Florida over to Galveston in order to handle refueling operations for the Carnival Jubilee. So once the Jubilee arrives, this is the vessel you will see doing the refueling process. And this is the first time I've seen an LNG refueling barge, and yeah, they look different than your typical refueling barge. Now, currently, the Carnival Jubilee is scheduled to arrive in Galveston on December the 20th and do her first sailing on December the 23rd. So folks on Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady that were on the transatlantic cruise heading towards Miami, well, they had a bit of a technical issue on the ship that caused a little bit of panic for some folks on board the ship, and I can kind of understand why. So you kind of have to picture this in your head. You're on your transatlantic cruise, you're enjoying your cruise vacation. They say it was a calm day, it was good weather, the seas were calm, but then suddenly, across the televisions and the app on board the ship, they start calling for emergency alerts, telling guests, get your life jackets and go to your muster stations. So this message appeared like on televisions, the apps, and it said, act now. Go to your cabin and collect your life jacket, warm clothing, and essential medications, and proceed to your muster station. If your cabin is inaccessible, go directly to your muster station. So yeah, I could kind of see where if you're chilling, you're relaxing, you're enjoying your day, maybe watching a little TV and suddenly this pops up, tell you grab your life jacket, go to your muster station, emergency, emergency. Yeah, it's going to freak a couple people out, because now you're wondering, whoa, what's going on? What's happening? Especially when the next message is, an incident has been reported. We will be providing updates over the public address system. Please listen carefully for important safety information. Turns out it was actually a complete false alarm. It was a technical problem that actually wasn't supposed to happen. What actually was supposed to happen is it was supposed to have been a crew drill. But when they activated the crew drill, it accidentally, mistakenly triggered it into the passenger area, causing the televisions and the apps to display this message. So it was just a training exercise. And of course, they had to come out and put out the announcement that said, oopsie, this was a mistake. We would like to let you know that the message you received about proceeding to your muster stations with life jackets was triggered due to a training exercise, and it is not a real scenario. We apologize for any inconvenience and thank you for your understanding. So yeah, you can picture that if you're a new cruiser, an inexperienced cruiser, and this starts popping up on different places around the ship, on the screens, that yeah, it might give you a sudden bout of panic. What's going on? What's the emergency? Are we about to sink? Are we going down? These are the kinds of things that would run through inexperienced people's heads. Now, a lot of the experienced cruisers said, well, wait a minute. the alarm, the horn, didn't go off. Prior to sailing on board cruise ships, you know, they give you the safety briefing and they give you an example of the emergency horn that they're going to blast in case of an emergency. And it's 7 short blasts followed by 1 long blast. Well, that part didn't happen. These messages only came over the television and the app. So your experienced cruisers were like, hey, something's fishy. But like I said, for new cruisers, I could definitely see why this would cause a little bit of an issue and a little bit of a panic. So yeah, a little bit of excitement there, a little bit of whoopsie, a little bit of a technical issue for passengers on board the Valiant Lady, but at least it was a false alarm. It was just a technical glitch. Cruise ship, of course, continued as normal, no changes, no issues, and no problems for Virgin Voyages. And that's going to be our cruise news video for today. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. Hope everyone out there is having a really great day. And like always, we will see you out on the high seas.